Iranian woman who is jailed in Tehran has vowed she will go on hunger strike for 3 days this month in protest at being denied access to medical care. Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe is seeking treatment after a number of health concerns, including finding lumps in her breasts. She was arrested in April 2016 on espionage charges which she denies. Her husband, Richard Ratcliffe, has been campaigning for Nazanin's release, and he joins me now live from London. Thank you so much for joining us on the programme. Now, you must be very worried about your wife's health. She's going on a hunger strike. I hear you've spoken to her this week. What more can you tell us?
No, that's right. Very worried indeed. She called me on Tuesday, New Year's Day, to say that she was going to go on hunger strike, to say that she had sent a letter announcing that publicly. It's something she's been threatening for a while. She obviously has been held in prison for a very long time. She's innocent, hasn't done anything. So it's been preying on her mind for a long time that this has gone on and on and on. I think for us, passing Christmas, passing her 1,000 days in prison, passing her 40th birthday and still being held with all this government wrangling was just too much, and so she's announced she's doing it.
And how can Iranian authorities justify denying her medical care?
It's a very good question, and they've also promised privately to the family, promised privately to the Foreign Secretary, UK Foreign Secretary, that they would grant it. What happened is she went down to see the prison doctor, having found the lumps in her breasts, as you mentioned. The prison doctor said, listen, I think you need to go and see a specialist urgently. And then it was blocked by the head of the prison clinic, who I don't think is a doctor, and said, listen, there's no need. Similarly, she'd had problems with pains in her neck that had led to numbness in her arms and her legs, which caused her collapse a few months ago. And again, that's been blocked. Generally, the prison have been very tough on Nazanin and other prisoners. She's not the only one about to go on hunger strike. And there's sort of a very tightening of conditions in prison, which obviously is very worrying for us.
And can you tell us a little bit, obviously her morale must be very low, but how is she bearing up?
Yeah, I think this has gone on so long. It's at the beginning we just thought this was a mistake. So, as you said in your beginning, Nazanin was arrested on espionage charges. Well, she was a mum on holiday. It's astonishing. And as it's gone on, we've been ebbing and flowing. But back in the summer, she was allowed out for 3 days, which was all hopeful. But when she went back in, was dragged back in, it's been very low ever since. And certainly now she has been threatening to do something for a long time, and has finally decided that it is time to act.
And I know you're working hard to push all the diplomatic channels to try and secure her release. Has there any progress been made on that front?
Well, the honest answer is not really. You're right, we've been campaigning for a long time, and in fairness to the British Foreign Secretary, Jeremy Hunt, he went to Tehran about 6 weeks ago. He was been calling very publicly for her to be released. It was stated very clearly that she's innocent, and she's not the only one being held, and was tweeting it over Christmas. That hasn't worked, and one of the things that we need to do with the British government is to sit down with them and ask what next. I think what we'll be pushing for is, on behalf of Nazanin and the other Brits and the other Europeans and the other Americans that are being held, so this needs to be taken to the UN Security Council, and there needs to be a meeting there.
Well, Mr. Ratcliffe, we wish you and your wife all the best, and thank you very much for coming on the programme.